Hey everybody, today's words to live by are: the pessimist complains about the wind, the optimist expects it to change, the realist adjusts his sails. And that is from William Arthur Ward with an assist to John Moliere, my stepdad, who has been a fantastic example for me, especially of number two and number three in that quotation, the optimism and realism combination, which I think is an important one. So I think what this quotation always does for me is it reinforces that complaining changes nothing. And if anything, it just puts you in a bad mood and it sort of blocks out the joy that might come into your life. So I think having hope in situations that seem sort of dire or unhappy, I think having hope does change something, namely your attitude. So it doesn't change necessarily what's happening around you, but it changes your own attitude, which I think is important for the third part of the quotation, which is adjusting your approach, and that changes everything. And so to me, this reflection is about one word that a lot of people don't like, which is ownership. And in my past lives, I know people who cannot stand this word because it's scary to take ownership over your own actions and your own attitude. And it's much easier to sort of blame circumstances, people, places, things around you for your bad luck. And I just don't fall on that side of things at all. I am much more about ownership, and it's what I try to teach, and it's what I try to sort of lean on during my own challenging times. And so to me, it's like conditions will not always be fair or calm or ideal. And so the move isn't to blame the wind in this case. It's actually to shift first my attitude, but then shift how I'm acting towards whatever that challenge might be. And so I think of the things that are under our control every day are our habits, our schedule, our attitude, our effort. And so, in the big things in my life, the big categories in my life and a lot of other people's lives, sports and competition, business, parenting, being an entrepreneur, writing, the list can go on for you. I'm sure, because a lot of people have big categories in their lives where things sometimes go your way and sometimes they don't go your way. But the people who adapt to the challenges are the ones who move forward. They're not the ones who sort of sit back and just complain that things aren't going their way. And so, first, change the attitude. Second, change your actions, right? So, and I think about this one example, and I've had people sort of try to steal money from me. Some of you might have had the same thing happen before, but I think about the people who sort of think that what's mine is theirs and they're entitled to it in some way, and they try to steal it, and they have stolen it before. And so it's pretty unsavory. And of course, the first response that you always have is you complain that other people are trying to take your things, right? But then when I sort of come back to this quotation, the first thing is to change my attitude about the situation and sort of expect optimism inside myself to sort of carry me forward, and to say, like, it's not always going to be like this, and there are, for every one person that tries to steal, there's 10 who sort of see things my way and are very fair and kind, right? But then the third part of that is, okay, how do I change my interactions and take ownership of how I interact with people trying to steal from me? And that is the thing that propels me forward and has gotten me through these individual cases. And so you might have something in your life as well that sort of on the surface, it seems unfair, and the easy thing to do is to sit back and just complain that things are so gosh darn unfair. And then I hope you realize at some point then your mindset has to change into one of optimism, like, okay, I can handle this, and this is the exception, not the rule, with everybody I deal with. And then the third part is to actually change your own behavior and your own actions as it relates to whatever that thing is that's unfair. So I hope today's reflection was helpful, and if it was, please like and or subscribe, and I will see you all again soon.